Hello, welcome to Krafting Kitty. My name is Erin, and it is Monday, so that means it is time for Yarn Management Monday. So we are plowing ahead. We are going to get through my yarn wall. So last week we did the first cube on the second row, and I put a picture of what the yarn wall looked like before we started the process. So now we're on the second cube out of, no we're not, we're on the third cube. I've lost track of what I've done. So third cube on the second row, and we've removed some, but not a ton out. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little fearful for this second, third, and fourth rows, because when I have pulled things to do projects for, it's been mainly from those rows. I'm going to be honest. They're like the easiest to reach. To get to the top row and above, I have to stand on a chair. So it's not super accessible up on the top rows. But, so as I've used, those are kind of the ones I've done. And I've said before, I've got some little fabric cubes over here. It'll make sense when we start over here. I'll take a picture over here. But, and I also pull from these. So I'm a little worried that there isn't going to be that much to pull out, because I've been using and shoving new yarn as I purchase it into those cubes to replace it. But we'll see. And I say that because I know I've pulled, I guess you know, right now I have the contents of this third cube sitting in front of me, and I don't think I'm going to give any of it up. I kind of feel a little, I'm not sure about how I feel about this, because part of the whole, I guess I need to backtrack in case you're new around here. Hello, welcome. Yarn Management Monday came about basically because I have reached storage capacity for my yarn collection. I have part of a storage room in the basement, and I have this craft room where I can keep my yarn. I have filled up my portion of that storage room. I have frankly filled up more than my fair share of that room, and it is spilling out. But that is why, that is how I know I have run out of space. And so we're trying to go through the yarn I have out in my walls and decide what I'm using, what I'm not going to use, and then we're rehoming any yarn that I'm not using. I have various giveaways on the channel, and that's what this yarn is becoming. And so that's the whole point of this. So part of it, I need to move some yarn out and make some cuts to get the yarn out of storage, to tame the beast and get everything under control in the basement, and to justify any new purchases to myself. I want to be absolutely clear. No one said this, but I just feel like it's a joke we often bandy about, and I think it's not a joke for some people. But when I say it on my channel and when Brian says it, it's a joke. Brian is supportive of my yarny crafty goodness. He has his hobbies, the scents, the fragrances, and we both know we purchase within our budgets, within our means, and within our storage capacity. He's got a lot of fragrances, and we've had to address storing them. We're addressing storing my yarn, and but he's not mad, and he is not in any way a push behind this. He is my worst enabler. I think he and Shannon's husband from another yarn would get in a lot of trouble in a yarn store together. But yeah, this is me putting pressure on myself. So I think in a previous video I made some off comment about, oh, Brian's gonna have to come in and help me if I get too far off the straight and narrow. But I feel a little bad saying that, because like, he has really no horse in this game other than, hey Erin, keep it in your storage space. Okay, but I've gone on about that enough. You guys know Brian. He's awesome. We love Brian. I certainly love Brian. I've gone way far afield. I am sorry. Let's look at yarn, guys. Okay. So, what I have here is, I believe there's three types of yarn, no, 4 types of yarn that have come from the 3rd cube on that wall. I have 2 big old balls of this, which I believe came from my first and perhaps only clearance yarn purchase from Annie's. This is James C. Brett Marble Chunky. It's a 200 gram donut. It's gigantic. This colorway is, it doesn't have a name, MC14. It is 312 meters, 341 yards. It says knits to most chunky patterns. 100% acrylic, machine washable. Do not chlorine bleach, you may pee. So dry clean with the pee solvent. And you may iron cool. It wants 6 millimeter knitting needles. I'm trying to see if I can... Made under license in Turkey. So I have 2, and this is the colorway. Beautiful tonal reds. This is gorgeous. I'm looking at this. I bought this because I really want to work with it. I want to try it. It has a very puzzle feel to me. Premier puzzle yarn. I think you'll agree. I think there is actually a red puzzle that this is very close to. I want to say backgammon. Is that correct? I am not the puzzle aficionado that many of you are. There's 341 yards, which makes it 682 yards in the pair. Oops. And the question is what to do with this. I am wondering if Mr. Chomps would like this for a sweater. I believe the last sweater I made for him was worsted weight yarn, and I used roughly 750, somewhere between there, yards of yarn. And that was a 4 weight. This is a 5, which will get me a little further. I'll be using bigger needles, so I won't use quite as much yardage. And if this is close to the yardage I used on his last sweater, and that sweater was frankly big on him, this might work for him. Now, my question is, I'm not sure if you're going to pick it up here. It's mostly reds and kind of, there's a bit of like an orange tone, which are his favorite colors. But here, there's kind of a, oh, that's not going to pick it up. If you could see, if my color got this correctly, there's like a bright red and then there's like a magenta. I don't know if that magenta is, would turn him off at all. But you got to put the question to him and give him the option. So I won't know till I ask him. Now, the last cube I mentioned, I had 2 of these in the next one. So I have 2 of these again. So 4 total mandala bonus bundles in the colorway Meowth. Very pretty. It's like a cream, a tan, a gray. This is kind of like a taupey grayish. And then like 2 shades of pink. Kind of a mauvier and then a lighter pink. So that's what we have in Meowth. And to just quickly go over this again. Meowth, lightweight 3, 10.5 ounces, 300 grams, 1,181 yards, 1,080 meters, machine washable and dryable, 100% acrylic, 3.75 millimeter knitting needles, and a 5 millimeter crochet hook. All that good stuff. Don't iron, you may pee, don't triangle. Don't triangle your yarn. Don't bleach it. Okay, what else do we have? So that's staying. We talked about Meowth last time. It's going in the cube with the other Meowths. So I have all my Meowth together. Here's what else I have. 2 of these Premier Blooms. Let's talk about it. we have Premier Bloom. This is what, nope. This is what it should knit up to. This is what it looks like unknit, unworked. This is 365 yards, 600 meters, and 7 ounces, 200 grams, 100% acrylic, lightweight 3.75 millimeter knitting needles, 4.25 millimeter crochet hook, machine wash warm, tumble dry, low, do not bleach, you may iron, and you may pee. Colorway is Apricot Blossom, made in Turkey. I really want to work this up and see what it looks like. I love the idea of the self-patterning yarn. I've knit socks with it. I've used it a lot. I don't think I have had a lot of luck replicating the self-patterning thing, even in knit. With the socks I've knitted. I've never crocheted socks yet. So, I don't know, but I don't think I'm going to use both of them because this is not a color that goes well with my complexion. So this will not be for me. This would be for Bingo. If I was to make a wearable, I could always take that and make a blanket. But we'll see. I kind of want to work it up in a cute little cardigan. I'm going to be honest. The final item here is I have 3 of this orange yarn. It's a very pumpkin-y, it's loops and threads, soft and shiny. So it's basically loops and threads version of Caron Simply Soft. 311 yards and 6 ounces. Colorway is pumpkin. Machine wash warm, gentle cycle. Use only non-chlorine bleach. Tumble dry low. Do not iron. Medium 4, but again, it's Simply Soft, so it's a light 4. That's a light 4. 5.5 millimeter knitting needles and a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. It includes the pattern for that blanket. That's cute. It's got baubles. It's a crocheted blanket. You're going to need 5 balls for the blanket. I do not have the yardage to make that blanket. So I recall this yarn. Brian bought it for me in, this was this a clearance? These don't have clearance stickers on them. These came from Michael's. This is one of 2 things. He went shopping in Michael's and he wanted to prove something. He did this a couple of times. One, he wanted to buy the cheapest items and then the more expensive items and like an average item. And another time he bought them and he wanted to test me to see if I could identify it. So I feel like this was either a sale run he made or when he bought different price point yarns, or when he was trying to test me. When he was trying to test me though, I think we did the trying to test each other a couple of times, and a couple of times he pulled from my collection. Did he buy? I know he bought and was like having me guess the prices from the LYS. This was not an LYS, this was a Michael's. So yeah, I do not recall the purpose of this purchase, but I do know he asked me about the color, and I really like this color, and I asked him to get me 3 so I could make a hat and scarf set. So that had a purchase, or that had a purpose when it was purchased, and I like it. I think it's beautiful. Ooh! Simply Soft works up very nicely on the Addy, doesn't it? Which one of you pointed out with my teal yarn, which is now hidden because I've repacked it. The Grundle Pretty, that would work up wonderfully on the Addy, and I think you're correct. So I do need to remember that cranking stuff out on the Addy is a very quick and efficient way of moving a large quantity out of the collection, because with the double layer scarves or the double layer beanies, it does eat a substantial amount of yarn. Not eat in a bad sense, it uses a substantial amount of yarn. But yeah, so all of this has a purpose, an idea, or something that I am still excited about. So I'm keeping it, and this is 2 weeks in a row I have kept the entire cube of yarn. Guys, but I don't want to say like, okay, next week I have to get rid of something, because I don't. Because all I'm doing is punishing myself by not letting me in my self-imposed purchase ban. So it is in my best interest to move things out, but it doesn't mean I have to. Send help and chocolate. No, don't send chocolate. I actually am not that big of a chocolate lover, so it's handy that I have sugar issues. So there you go. Alrighty. I'm going to throw this back up on the wall. But what I am finding is I'm able to more efficiently repack it. So I might be reclaiming some space that way. Pat on my back. Okay. I'm going to talk to you guys later.